Your work only defines whether you can do the job or not. Okay. But when you present, you are communicating at what level of seniority you're going to come in.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Apurva, and right now I'm on my parenting break. I had work experience of 4 years in the IT industry in customer service domain, and I'm new to this field. So I was looking something to start my career into it, and then I come across to this college portfolio builder series. And today I'm presenting the project. So the project is about the redesigning the flow of applying learning license for the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway. The goal of this particular presentation would be to get the feedback on my design decisions, the problem solving approach, and the overall presentation quality. This is the homepage of the Sarthi Parivahan website. So once the user is in, and when I analyze this particular site or the complete flow, I get to know that there are three main issues that need to be fixed: the hierarchy, discoverability, and the help and feedback. So I started working on it. So when I closely observe this particular screen, I get to know that I can group some of the options together. Because there are 19 options, it was very hard for user to go through each option or check every option and then click on something that they desire to click on. So what I did is I grouped some options. Like for example, here I grouped all the options which comes under apply. So there are 6 options, and once user click on this apply for license, they will be able to proceed with, or they will get all the options like the learning license or the driving license, etc. If user is still confused about it, then they can always click on the search and they will be able to get that option. The search was not available on the site, so that was a little confusing. The other thing is, if user want to click on the learner license on the original flow, and once they click on it, they will get the error message on the top that you have to select your state first, and then they will redirect it to the another page where user have to select the state, and then they will redirect back you to the learner license page. It's almost the 8 clicks that user have to make before getting to their desired option. So I have cut short this to the 4 clicks. Now, this was the original design, and this is the design. This is a redesign which I made. Now let's talk about the entire flow of this website. The original design goes like, first you have to submit the address proof, then the class of vehicle, and then the physical fitness form. Now the issue with this particular flow is once you submit the physical fitness form, then only you will get to know that there is some error, or if you made any error, then you will get the message that you are physically not fit, hence you will not be able to submit your form. Now it's a very tedious process and the form length is very long, so user have to go back to the address proof submission again and they have to start the procedure again. So when I think about it, I try to match this with the real-time experience as we get into the RTO. So if the person is going to the RTO or the license office, then they will usually ask if there is any physical disability that person have, or they have any preference over the vehicle selection. So once they confirmed about it, then they will move forward with the address proof submission. Also, this is the page of the Sarthi Parivahan website. So now if you read this message, this is actually very important, but they have put it at the very end. So while you are submitting it, then only you will get this message that if you already have the learning license, then you will not be able to submit it, or even if you submit it, then we will get a legal or criminal action. So these kind of message should have more attention so that user will be able to read it carefully. Also, these are 3 buttons that they have put over here. Now, this is the primary button and these 2 are secondary buttons. And there is no such difference. User can click on refresh and cancel by mistake. Also, there is minor things like they have put that this indicates the mandatory. Declaration is very mandatory, but they have not put such sign over here. So there are some minor issues as well. So what I did is I put such pop-up saying caution that if you have a license and if you are still applying it, then we can take the legal action. It's the same message, it's that I have given it more prominent. Now I will walk through step by step of all the decisions which I made. So the first one is this. This is the I information symbol. If user clicked on it, they will get this pop-up with the relevant information about that particular option. Now here, because it's a learning lesson, I get to know that there are three categories for the age 16, 18, and 20. Sometimes user may not know about it and they will not be able to make the decision. So if we educate the user beforehand, it would be easy for user to make that informed decision. Now the second one is I try to improve the inclusivity. As I said before, once the user submit their physical fitness form, there is no way that the current system, they do not offer any help or support that if you are physically disabled, you have to go to the RTO. There is no way you can submit the form on the site. At least that time that support was not given. So what I did is once the user submitted the form, according to their choice, the system will show them a result. Like here, if the user is not physically capable, then they will give you these three options, for example. So you can select from these three options and you can continue with your form. And because it's in the very beginning, it would be easy for user to make that decision if they want to go ahead with this one or they want to visit the RTO. It will not waste their time. Also, to give them that indication of visibility of real system status, what I did is I provide the breadcrumbs on the top, and also I have given the status bar on the side. So in that way, user will be able to see on which option they are right now or what options they have already filled and how many options are remaining. Another thing is there are two use cases. The first one is applying for license with the Aadhaar card, and second one is applying for license without the Aadhaar card. Unfortunately, some of the states do not have that provision to go ahead with the phone number, but still, because there were two use cases, I have covered both. Now, this is the form design that they have, and this is the form which, okay, this is for the Maharashtra. I couldn't get into the Andhra Pradesh site, and because I have moved forward with the phone number, that's why these fields are empty. If it's with the Aadhaar card, you will be able to see most of these fields are already filled. And this is the redesign of form which I made. So in this case, I went ahead with the right align because my focus is not on the speed. My focus is on the accuracy. So user can relate easily between the field and the label. So they will be able to relate it and they will be able to check if the information they are giving is correct. Also, I have divided this particular, it was a lengthy form. It had 6 steps because I have eliminated 2 and put it in the front. So right now it has only 4 steps, but I have put it on the top and they just have to submit one by one. There is one more step before this form that once user submitted their Aadhaar card detail, most of the information will be pre-filled. They just have to select their RTO office so that they can move ahead with their application. Now, one more change which I made is this is the format they have to select the class of the vehicle. Once user clicked on it, they have to click on this option and then they will get this option in the selected COVs. So instead, what I did, I created a simple checkbox. So user just have to click on the desired option and that option will move forward. So in that way, user will be able to know that, okay, this one is selected and they can select from the remaining options. And this is the declaration page, but here, yeah. So one more thing which I did is until and unless user checked all the mandatory fields, this option will be disabled. So once user checked all the fields, they will be able to move ahead. In that way, there is less chances to commit the errors. User will be able to know that, okay, all the fields are filled. Now we can go to the next page. And this is the confirmation page or the last page, where user will get the information about their license application number, and also they will get the information that you will get this information on your phone number because we have already taken their phone number. Okay, now how it will benefit the user and how will impact the business. So in the original flow, the disabled person will not be able to submit these forms. They have to go to the RTO. So because of the decisions which I made, I tried to give them more inclusive decision. And also I've improved the navigation. I have given the clear visual cues, so it would be easy for user to track their steps. Also, I tried to improve the discoverability by giving the search option on the top. And for the business, there would be increase in number of users if they found this process easy. And because of that, we would be able to get positive feedback, which will increase the customer satisfaction and loyalty. Now, what is the future scope of this design? Well, once we get the feedback from the user, it would be easy for us to iterate on our design so that we can give the better user experience. And second would be the number of AI tools are coming in the market. So if we implement that in this particular design, it would be easy for us. For example, we can provide the 24/7 real assistant. Users do not have to be on the call just to get a simple question answered. They can get that answered then and there. The third one is because we are collecting so much data, it would be easy for us to give them a data informed decision. And as we know, around 54 to 57% population of the India using phone. So if we have something that is compatible with the phone, then it would be easy for user to have that experience on their phone as well. Now I want to summarize my entire explanation, entire presentation. So what I did, I tried to give the consistent design. I try to offer the helpful feedback whenever possible and needed. I try to simplify this particular application process, which will result in reduced error and which will increase the customer satisfaction. Now, how it will impact the business and the user? We will be able to get the higher application completion rate. It will give you the smoother process and the positive outcome for the ministry. Now, quickly, we will check the prototype. Okay, so as I said, this is the home page. Yeah, then we will click on learning license. Here we have to select the state and we will see all the steps that user have to follow. And here I have given the information about which documents user have to upload. Now this is the caution message. Now there are two cases. First is for the person who is not disabled. So once they click on submit, they will be able to see all the options which are available. And if user is disabled, then they will be able to see there are some options which are just for them according to their responses. Also, I provided a note that if you are a physically disabled person, that you just have to provide some proof while submitting the document, so that we will be able to verify you. Okay, here we can select the category. Here we can see what process we are following. So we will give the Aadhaar number. Same we can do with the virtual ID as well. And we will accept all the terms and conditions and we will move ahead. So this is the information for the persona Ranjan we already have. At this time, user will not be able to edit anything. He just have to select the RTO. At this point, we can change the state and PIN code. Sorry. Once we move ahead, we will not be able to make any changes over here because this information we have taken from the Aadhaar card, and this is the information or the decision we have made in the beginning. And because it's differ from state to state, at this stage, user will not be able to edit it. So most of the information is already filled. Okay, they just have to fill some of the places and they will be able to move ahead. Now, this is something about the driving school. Not every user will have this information, but if you're the person from the driving school who are filling the form for them, they will be able to fill this information. But this is not mandatory, so user will be able to proceed with their application. Now, this is the last one. As you can see, this button is grayed out. So once user click on both of them, this button will be active and user will be able to submit this particular form. So up to here, I have designed my flow. Now let's get back to the slides. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Oh, I'm open for any questions if you guys have any questions.
I like the work. However, this is something I tell everybody. So I thought that your presentation lacked that seniority, like the fact that you spent 4 years, you have 4 years of experience doing customer service is important, because that also increases your maturity to think about a problem. So, and the way you presented, I think, kind of distracted from the quality of work you did.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the way I would think about it. Okay. When you're presenting it, the way you want to present it is, see, a junior level person will basically say, okay, I did this screen, I did this screen, I did this screen. They will explain screens. Okay. Somebody who's more senior, the way they will explain it is, this is the problem I was solving.
Okay.
Okay. So you spent all of 2 slides. You said, yeah, it's going to take so many clicks and all that. No, I think go back to the initial. Let me kind of tell you how I would present it.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes taking some time is really good. Okay. So what you said was the main issues that need to be fixed are hierarchy, discoverability, help and feedback. Okay, good. But you've solved problems at feature level.
Right.
Okay. The way you want to talk about is you go back to the first slide.
This one?
Yeah, this one. Okay. You see, you're redesigning the flow of applying the learner's license for the Ministry of Road Transport. Well, why? Why are you doing that?
Okay.
Why did you choose that project? Why not some other project?
Well, I just want to give, I just want to solve the problem that users are facing currently, so that everyone would be able to apply for that process.
So what are you trying to say? You're basically saying, see, here's a service. I took this project called the Parivahan website because it allows people across the country to apply for licenses or do anything with relation to the Ministry of Road Transport, correct? And this touches a significant portion of the population.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And that's why that project is important. That is why you felt that there is a lot of scope for improvement there. Okay. So then you say, okay, well, what all does M-Parivahan make you do? So you can actually apply for a driver's license, you can renew your license, you can, look for challans, you can actually track your vehicle, you can do like there's about 20, 30 different features that are listed on the website. Correct? So which feature are you going to choose first to fix?
I have picked only one flow, the learner's license.
So then you say, well, I'm only going to look at the learner's license. Why?
Honestly, that was a problem statement given in the project.
True, but
yeah. Okay.
Why? At the end of the day, somebody will give you the work. This happens even in office also, right?
Yeah.
Your boss will give you the work. Okay. And somebody will come and ask you, Apurva, why are you doing this work? Okay. So you have 2 choices there. The first choice you can say is, well, my boss told me to do this work. That's why I'm doing it. The other way is like, 70% of our users are getting stuck at in this flow. So that is why I'm working on this problem. Yeah, your boss gave it to you, but in one case, you're taking ownership of the problem.
Right.
In the other case, you're saying somebody told me to do it.
Yeah, there is a difference.
So what are you trying to communicate? Are you trying to communicate that you're doing what somebody else is telling you to do? Or are you taking ownership of the problem?
If you look at the learner's license, the people can apply for the learner's license is from age 16. So it's from age 16 to anyone who do not have the license. So everyone has to go through this process.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they will not be able to get the driving license. So that is what the rule in India. So that's why whenever the new user is on the site, if they do not hold the license, they have to apply for a learning license. So I guess this also cover the major part of the population.
That's the reason. That's a problem you're trying to solve. You're saying, see, a majority of people, pretty much everybody that is going to hold a license will have to apply for a learner's license at some point or the other. So that is the first point of contact with this application. And that is why I wanted to look at the learner's license experience. And by the way, second thing, if you solve the learner's license experience, you can also solve the driver's license renewal experience, correct? Because it's a similar flow. Correct? So you will be able to solve other experiences as well. That is why you focused on this experience. Okay, good. I buy that. I get that you took ownership of the problem. Okay. So ownership of the problem implies, why are you excited? What problem are you solving and why are you excited about this problem? I want to hear it from you. Because a lot of times when people are interviewing, especially in mature companies, they are not looking at the solution you came up with. They're looking at, do you have the ownership? Do you take responsibility? Do you take accountability? Well, what problem are you solving? Are you just solving features? So they're trying to understand that.
Okay. So when I actually first when I checked this entire site, I got to know even on the design level, there were so many problems and also the usability problems. So that I mean, that would be also easy to solve, easy to fix, but it will have more to clear that stage, and they can easily move forward to the next step. But because there are some minor mistakes from this site, they are stuck in between, or the drop-off rate was more. At between, user is thinking that okay, maybe I will not be able to move forward, or they are demanding so much at this stage, and there are so many steps, and at the end they are saying that okay, there is some mistake. So these are all factors help me to think more and come up with the solution.
So do you have your audit report?
Not right. Maybe yes.
But you've done the audit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the bits and pieces, it's not together. Like I have taken a screenshot of each screen and then I have noted on the side.
So did you learn how to do the severity and the frequency and all that stuff?
No.
Okay. So if you didn't learn that, the way you would want to say that is, see, here's the experience we looked at. And here are 5 of the problems. There are 5 problems that stop people from completing the flow. Okay. There are 3 problems that are big enough that they are going to cause a lot of irritation and frustration to people. Okay. So because there are so many problems, I thought that this was, and again, because most people come to this website and they start utilizing it, this is the first point of contact. I felt that this was the experience I needed to solve and simplify. Okay. So now I know that there are big problems and I understand your logic for why you selected this experience. Okay. Again, which is what you've done. You've done the work. It's just that you're not talking about the work you've done. So people don't give you credit for it.
Right.
Okay. So the first slide, you're simply saying, here's this website. Here's what this website tries to do. And here's the core, goal of this website. And then I did an analysis of this website. I found all these other problems. And by the way, this website does all these 5 things, but I realized that just for the one experience, which involves every user, they are actually struggling. There are 5 places where it fails and all that. That is why I decided to look at getting the learner's license experience. Okay. So now you've explained to me why you picked something and why it is important. What is the benefit for that? Correct? So at this point, you have not talked anything about the features themselves. You have only talked about your research and your rationale.
Right.
Okay. So when I'm listening to you, I'm kind of learning, okay, yeah, I know that she can think logically. I know she can think systematically. That's great. Okay. Then you say, okay, now let's actually look at the learner's license experience. So you dive a little bit deeper into it and you say, listen, of the 5 problems, here are the 5 problems that it is causing. So talk about those problems a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Which is why it is stopping. And by the way, here are all these other challenges. So you're talking about the challenges. So once you talk about the challenges, then you jump into your solution. So when you come to slide number 2, okay. See, you said there's 3 main issues: hierarchy, discoverability, help, and feedback. Well, why? Why is that important? Right? How did you decide on hierarchy, discoverability, and help and feedback? So if you had shown me the problems you identified, I know that you did your research, you can evaluate this design and you can find problems. And I also know that you're able to find the top level things and you're able to explain why you chose a certain direction. Okay. So that is what you will change to slide number 2. Now let's come on to the next slide. Okay. Now, when you're saying, see, when you're redesigning for the homepage, explain to me what are the problems that you have on this page, on this experience. Okay. And say, here are all these problems. So people will give wrong information, people will give, so these are the top 5 problems. If you give me the solution, like, okay, I have right aligned, left aligned, and I've done all this, I don't know what problem you're solving. It just seems to me like, आपने solve कर दिया, but क्यों solve किया, क्या किसी को मालूम नहीं, so you don't get credit for it. कोई भी designer कर देगा, है ना? But if you say, here's the problem, and इस problem के लिए there are 3 solutions, उसके लिए मैंने ये solution मैंने इधर apply किया, now the person understands, okay, यहाँ problem identify किया, उसको इस तरीके से आपने इधर solve किया.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah.
So then you are connecting the dots, and now I'm able to see logically how you solve the problem, what it is, what is the outcome. And finally, you can say in the previous experience, it took 7 steps. In this experience, it takes only 3 steps. The previous experience, there were 5 major errors. In this experience, there are no errors. Okay. So now you compare and say, this is how we know we succeeded and done. This is the final project.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the moment you explain that, it's just, telling a story is just like making a movie. Okay. Movie mein kya hai? The first 1/3 of the movie is you build sympathy with the hero or the heroine, because you see how nice they are, how good they are, what their life looks like. You have sympathy and empathy with them. Okay. Then the next 1/3 of the problem is, how did they get into trouble? Okay. Correct. So there's this big problem that happens and the hero or the heroine is stuck in that situation. And then the last 1/3 of the process is devoted to how does the person get out of that problem. So what you did, your critical mistake is you jumped directly into the solution without creating the empathy and without creating an understanding of how you got into that hole in the first place. Okay. Correct? Yes. Yeah. So if you just change your storytelling style, it'll be awesome. Okay. You're good to go. You can actually go apply for internships or full-time jobs, and then you should be able to get. The other point that you also mentioned was, you said, hey, I have customer service experience that is not related. I would actually argue customer service is related. Yeah. Because when you're talking to your customers, you're doing research. You're learning what is working, what's not working, isn't it? Yes. So you have those interview skills. You have the ability to understand what is the problem. Now, once you understand the problem, now you're learning how to implement the solutions for it. Right. And so that's where your strength is. So you say, yeah, I've done customer service, and part of my customer, and as part of customer service, I had to talk to a lot of people and understand the problems. I had to learn to interview people. I had to learn to give them feedback in a way that they would understand and all that. And now, therefore, I realize that design is important, because the better design is, the less customer service has to work, isn't it? Yes. And that's why you're transitioning into customer service design. I get it. I totally understand your logical growth. And I understand that even though you spent 4 years in a discipline that is seemingly unrelated to design, it is relevant and valuable for you. Yeah, that's how I tried to connect, but yeah, this would be nice. Yeah, thoda practice karna hai. The more you practice it, the more it becomes second nature, and then you do it. And one of the things that I would say, especially for Indian designers is we as Indians generally tend to not talk up as much. We don't tell the story. This is the work, this is what it is, what else do you need, right? But no, especially when you're looking at the kind of companies that, the good companies and the mature organizations, they want to hear your thought process. They want to hear your motivation. They want to hear your logic. So all of those skills, that storytelling skill is really, really important.
Yeah, I actually have one doubt regarding it.
Hmm.
Because before that, I have this entire thought process in a case study manner on Notion. So that was very text heavy, even I know that. So I got a feedback, right? No one will read your entire thought process. So you have to have your visuals first. Then only they will be able to scan it. So I was not sure what to put on the slides.
Totally. So see, it's one of the best presentations that I saw was literally like this guy was the CEO of a company. I don't know if you've heard of Evernote. Okay. So it is the Dropbox ka grandfather, right? So where you can store all kinds of stuff. This guy just simply did a 5-slide presentation and raised like a few $100 million.
Okay.
Right? 5 slides, that's it. Okay. And he presented it to us, and it was just so phenomenal the way he told the story, the way he connected the dots, and in 5 slides, he was able to convince us and get us moving. Okay. Yeah. So what you need is the slide number 1. Okay. Slide number 1, I don't need to know what, the website is. Just put a screenshot of the website and say, this is what the website does. Ho gaya na?
Okay.
Yeah. Then when you come to the second slide and say, where are the problems? You can say, well, you're talking about, okay, so majority of the people come here and this is the drivers getting their learner's permit is the most important one. And by the way, when you do learner's permit, you just keep one slide with, here are the all biggest problems or here are all the problems I identified.
Okay.
And that's it. Now you say one slide, you're identifying all the problems. So I know you know how to do research. I know you know how to evaluate. I know, you are able to identify the problem. And then after that, you come to the third slide. You just use just put a image and then tell the story around it. Okay. And that way you'd be able to have a very solid game. And then when you want to talk about how many steps are there, you don't have to show all of this, right? You just show like boxes. First you log in, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, and it takes about 7 steps. The skeleton type. Yeah, just to show the workflow and then say, okay, here's a skeleton. This is how many steps it takes. Okay. Right? You show a screen and say, now here's the problem. This is where people are not able to log in. Here are problems which do not allow people to complete their flow. Okay. So, I mean, you just need an image and tell the story around it. You don't need to put text around it. That's what the point is. Okay. Okay. So I would just say practice your storytelling because your storytelling is the one that's going to now sell you really well. Okay. And also practice introducing yourself. Don't say I don't have any experience. I worked for 4 years. During the process, these are things I learned. That's why I transitioned over. Now, nobody needs to know that you're on a maternity leave. Nobody needs to know that unless they ask you. Okay. Okay. So that's what it is. Okay. I thought that would explain the gap. So that's why I just put it out. Let them figure it out. Let them figure it out. So you say, I just took some time off. And then along the process, I also realized I wanted to do this and I did this. Okay. Okay. So it's as simple as that. I mean, a lot of times what happens is, and again, this is a little bit tougher for women in the workspace, is when you kind of go in and say, listen, I had a baby and I had this and I had that. Like a guy wouldn't do that, isn't it? If I was a man, I would be, even if I took leave, I would not be telling my future manager like I had a kid and that's why I took some time off. Right. So why would you put yourself at a disadvantage in that game? Yeah, true. But I do want to congratulate and thank Apurva. So it takes a lot of courage to present. So congratulations on that. And we hope that the feedback you got is valuable and it helps you evolve and get your first job. So, you need any other help, you have your mentors and all of us available. So just feel free to ping us and we'll help you. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Chalo then. Bye.
See you. Bye.